Hey, in this video, we're going to talk to Mr. Jay Kinder here today. We're going to talk about how he got into real estate, all the challenges that he faced, the solutions to those challenges. And if you stick around to the end, we're also going to explain why we're here in the middle of Puerto Rico right now. Jay moved his entire family here. We're going to talk about why in the world you would do such a thing. So we're going to get after it right now. Hey, if you're a real estate agent and you want to learn how to double your business and dominate your market, then subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to learn about the new offers and funnels before the other agents who don't tap the bell. My name is Jimmy Webb Jr. My partner Levi and I get calls and emails every day from brokers, team leads, and other agents who are looking to learn more about eXp. So if you want to learn more about what that partnership would look like, then give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, all in the description below, and we will happily talk to you about what that looks like and see if you're a good fit. So today, Mr. Jay Kinder. Jay, how are you today,
man? Actually, today's been a pretty good day. So yeah. I'm finding fewer and fewer things to complain about these days.
That must be easy based on where we are. We've been hanging out here for a couple weeks now. And Jay, I want to start back in the very beginning, right? So how did you get into real estate? And, I'm sure we'll, dissect some pieces along the way.
Right.
But yeah, how did you get in? And tell us that whole story.
Yeah, so so my dad was in real estate and mainly in property management. So I've been around real estate my whole life, and literally it was the most boring to me as a kid. It was the most boring thing in the world, right? Like I remember making rubber band balls at my dad's office. There was literally nothing to do as a kid in a real estate office. And when I graduated high school, he bought a Coldwell Banker franchise that year. So he went from being an independent with mostly property management to having a bunch of agents. And so I didn't really see like real estate sales. My dad wasn't showing houses all the time, stuff like that, as much as, after I graduated, I started meeting these agents that he kind of had new relationships with because he just bought the company. And I mowed the yards for my dad. That was what I was doing. I was going to college, mowing yards. And
Did you run that business? Like you made a whole business out of it?
Yeah. I mean, there was plenty of yards to mow, and so I had landscape business. I mean, it seems like that's like every entrepreneur, right? Had a landscape business at some point, and so we did that, and that was actually kind of helpful because I learned all the streets. You know what I'm saying? So that did actually kind of help a little bit. But I remember I was picking up a check one day. It was like $400, and this guy Rusty Williams was picking up a check, and he was in my dad's office. And he got a check for like, I think it was either 3 or 5,000 something, 3 or 5, not 35, but like 3 to 5,000, something like that. And I was like, man, what did he do today? He didn't even sweat. He's not dirty or nothing. Like
10 times.
Exactly. Yeah, right. I'm like, whatever he did, I'm pretty sure I could probably do it, right? Like I just didn't know enough about the sales, but I was like, what?
How old are you at this point?
18. So 18, maybe like getting close to 19 probably. So I got licensed when I was, just when I turned 19. So I just turned 19, took my test, didn't pass it, then I passed it. And so at that point I was like, I'm gonna get into real estate. Like I'm gonna try it at least, what I'm saying? Like if I could make $5,000 a month, I mean, I'd be ecstatic at this point, right? And so yeah, that was kind of the start. And I was lucky because when I got into real estate, the first thing that I got introduced to was Dale Carnegie training, which is a phenomenal training. And it's only because my dad had gone through it. And the guy came back in the office one day while I was standing up front, and he's looking for more people to get into his training, right? So he comes to see one of his old guys that had been through it. And my dad's like, you want to go? I was like, what is it? It's like, it's Dale Carnegie training. And they started kind of talking about a little bit about it. And I was like, what the hell, I'll try it. So I did. It was an 8-week-long class. They made me speak, like get up and talk in front of people. I was petrified, like all the things that you have to do in real estate, you know what I'm saying, that, I got, I had to get past a lot of that, and so that was good. That was really helpful. And then that helped so much, in fact, that I started paying a lot more attention to where else can I learn, because there wasn't nothing in the office that I could learn. Like the agents in the office weren't trying to share anything with you. They were nice to me. The young kid, hey, what's up, dude? The kid, how's it going? Then they talk trash, and there's a leaderboard, and Tom King was always at the top of it. I was like, I don't care what happens. I just want to beat that guy, right? So I was competitive enough that I started really wanting to beat it, but there was nowhere to go to learn. There's no, inside the office, they didn't, there wasn't, Coldwell Banker didn't provide anything. My dad wasn't providing anything. He didn't really ever sell. and the agents didn't really share that much with me. And so, you know, I started going to all these little things where I could go. I had to travel, go to whatever event it was, Coldwell Banker's annual event, did that, learned, you know, bought everybody's books and tapes, and they were tapes, actually, it was that long ago. Then it was CDs, and now everything's online. But yeah, so I went and I did all that. I started learning, and I would go back and I'd try something, and it would work or it wouldn't. But I'd always find something that worked, and so I became kind of conditioned that if I wanted to have more success, I just needed to keep learning and figuring things out. And so that's, you know, my first couple years. I think my third year my first year was 22 units, then it was 39, then 71, then like 110, then 233. I made a big jump, then to 3 something. Shit fell apart. It didn't grow. Like it was almost exact same number the next year because I didn't have the right systems and processes. And then down up to like my best year was 531 transactions. Awesome. And you know, and in a lot of ways, people say, well, yeah, Jay, wow, 531 homes. How did you do it? I say, well, that's not the best question. It's like, should you do it? It'd be the right question. Like, should you do that? No, you shouldn't do that. Actually, don't ever, because
why not?
Because it's not what's important. I had set this goal. They teach you in real estate to set this transaction goal, right? And they have these awards and stuff. And I kept winning these awards. I'm number 1 in the state of Oklahoma now. Oh wow, now I'm the top in the region. Oh shoot, I'm number 2 in the world for Coldwell Banker now. And it was all based on my transactions, right? But that you can't take transactions to the bank. That's just a treadmill. What we're all really after, and you don't really know it when you're younger, but we're really after time freedom. We're really after the ability to choose what you do with your time. And what I found is when you're selling 500 homes a year, you ain't got no time. You got more responsibilities. You got more things that you have to manage and lead. And there's some issues with the model in real estate as to whether you're going to ever step out of production, because at some point you may not be there now, but someday you'll be like, I don't really care if I ever see another buyer or seller. And when you get to that point, you want to be able to step out of production. That's why a lot of people open brokerages thinking that they're going to be able to get out of production, and they never often do. But yeah,
One analogy that you use often is making sure your ladder is up against the right wall.
Exactly, right. And that's what it felt like when I got to the top of the ladder, 10 years almost in the business. I think I was 27 years old, so you're real close to 10 years. I realized that wasn't what I wanted. It didn't give me freedom, right? I was doing it because I thought it was going to give me freedom, and it didn't. And I knew that it wasn't going to ever. And that was, I was very frustrated because I'd paid so many people so much money to learn. And, you know, Mike Ferry taught me prospecting when I was at 19 years old. Right when I got in the business, I went to a Ferry conference, Dallas, Texas. The last year that Michael Jordan played in the NBA, and he played in Dallas. And I'll never forget it because my uncle slipped the vendor at the event, that when we saw Troy Aikman going in, we saw all these people going in, and there's this hot dog vendor. He offered him $20. He kicked the door open, and me and my uncle and my 2 cousins went in, and we just sat in different seats until we got kicked out and watched the whole game, right? Like that's how we used to roll. Like that's how when you come from where I come from in Oklahoma, you don't pay to get into events like that. You got to see how creative you are and get into them. And so, anyways, it was a fun experience. But I was at a Mike Ferry right after a Mike Ferry event. But Mike Ferry teaches prospecting, and it's very good what he's teaching. But what you don't know, what you don't know. It's just prospecting. Don't spend money on anything else. Just prospect. Well, that's great until you go on a vacation and then your business shuts down. You ain't doing no business. You know that now you have these roller coasters, right? And so it's a pillar, right? It's a pillar of your business. And I did prospect, and you should prospect. And then I hired someone to prospect for me, right? So eventually that pillar was still an oil well for my business, but then you go over and, you know, Buffini's saying it's by referral only. The hell it is. It's not by referral only. It's just, that's a pillar of the business, right? That's an oil well. You should make sure that you're maximizing the lifetime value of a client by getting referrals, but now you got 2 pillars, right? So you can have, and then there's direct response marketing, and there's people that are teaching pieces of it, but there was no one teaching you how to build a business. Much more importantly, no one was teaching you how to build a profitable business, right? That required less of your time, not more of your time. And so that was the challenges. And at the time, no one had really stepped out of production and built a big business and stepped out of production, which was what I was doing. Obviously, as you know, getting into coaching and started a coaching organization was our passion, me and my business partner, Michael Reese. And I wanted to step out of production so I could focus on that bigger opportunity. And I couldn't because I kept having to do production to keep the business going. And it was extremely frustrating because it was my problem, but it was also a lot of other people's problems that they didn't know yet. Right. And so as we're coaching people, we're coaching them on a model that at the end, we didn't know how to fix the problem yet. And so
there was no exit strategy.
Right. There was no exit strategy. Right. And so, and I can't tell you how much I undervalued the term exit strategy for the first 10 years of my career. I did not.
It's a long time.
Because you're thinking, hey man, shoot, when I get to this goal, I'm going to be making so much money that I'm going to be financially set. And when you realize that the financial model, when you start stepping out of production, is a lot of times not able to stay consistently profitable at a real high level. You're not able to really. You can either got to stay in production and stack your acorns. You know what I'm saying? Or you have to. You struggle.
Which is what most people do.
Right. That's why you've never been to a real estate agent's retirement party.
Right.
Right. Think about it. Anybody ever have a retirement party? I don't think they're 108 years old. Betty Austin's, I always think, every time I say this, I think of this poor lady, Betty Austin. She had to have been 108 when I started real estate. And I mean, bless her heart. I mean, she had nothing. She had nothing. She lived in an apartment, and she lived basically from real estate deal to real estate deal was how she survived. And because no company was innovative enough to create a way for agents to have something at the end of their career. And it's sad. It was sad, but that's how real estate agents go out. You don't want to be going out, while you're knocking doors at 90 years old. That's not the way to go.
Mm-hmm. You want to tell that, you told the story last night about the MLS book. I didn't know what an MLS book was until you told the story last night. Go ahead and tell us.
So it was so, where I was at, I was always trying to change things, move things forward or whatever. And they have these MLS books. And for those of you that are old enough to know what MLS books, the people that don't, this is funny. And so when they were explaining to me, I joined the board of realtors group, right? And I'm on the board of realtor. I'm on the board at the MLS committee, right? I'm on the MLS committee. I'm on the board there, all this other stuff. And they're showing me the numbers and everything, and we're doing this vote on these MLS books. And I was like, I hadn't used one. I never had used one. Because we had just gotten this system that was called Voyager, and it was online. And so I was just learning how to use this computer system. And they were explaining.
Is that all that you knew was Voyager?
The first 2 years they had the MLS books.
Okay.
And
so
then
you had
So I used it because I had to, and then it was Voyager, and it was like, oh, this is where everything, now all the information is online, so you don't need the book. Well, then they quit printing the books. They said, well, we're still going to print them. And it's like every 60 days they're going to print these books. I said, well, what? I said, so it takes 60 days to gather all the information. Then they cuts off. Then it takes another 60 days to get printed and get shipped to us. I said, so they're like, they're literally working with information that's in some cases 90, 120 days old minimum. When they get it, in their hands, right? And so this lady, I was at a house that I had sold, and we were going through the final walkthrough, going to closing. There's a sold sign on the house. I'm inside, and we're walking through, and we come outside, and sweet Betty Austin is she's walking about 2 miles. Like so slow, like trying to get the house. And this young couple,
nice, Jay.
I'm being nice, but this young couple was behind them, looking like somebody kill me. Like this, we'll be able to see 2 houses a day at this pace. And she's like, Jay, is this house not available? She had her MLS book. Is this house not available? It says it is in the book. I was like, yeah, but Betty, the book is printed. It's 60 days. You'd be lucky if anything in that book is available. Like you can't,
right.
you got to use Voyager, right? But that was how back in the day, real estate agents used that book, and that was where all the information was. So, that was how people did it. But a lot of agents didn't make that switch to the technology side of things.
Yeah. So, man, let's talk about how, like, you obviously found out Voyager. What was the kind of transition over the years into technology? Like, what were the opportunities that you saw?
Yeah, so the first was leads, man. Like leads was leads was so there was a product called SOAR EMLS, and it was the ability to plug it. It was a plug-in for your it was a plug-in to the MLS that would essentially send you the new listings that came on the market. This was before the internet was really taking off. So this thing was bad to the bone. It allowed you to make an offer of, is this the only home you're interested in, or would you be interested in other homes that match your criteria?
Right.
Well, we have a system here in our office whereby we can put in the criteria, the information, what you're looking for, and it'll send you the updates of new houses when they come on the market. Now every MLS does that. We were the only ones that had it if you had SOAR MLS. That was a gangster tool. Like, I mean, that was a game changer for converting leads. And so we and then lead generation, websites were, it's not much different with social media. It's the same thing. A squeeze page is a squeeze page. You get their information. They do a home search. There wasn't your Tiger leads. That stuff didn't come around until 2005. Tiger leads, Boomtown, KV Core, that kind of stuff. None of that stuff existed. And so you had the ability to lead generate a lead, and then it wouldn't deliver the listings right away. Nothing could do that. So you had an opportunity to call them and say, okay, I'm going to mail you this list of homes, or I'm going to email it to you. At a certain point, we got to that level of technology. But those are we were generating leads. I remember when Mike got into real estate, he said, "What website should I get?" I said, "You get the one I got." I said, "Because I'm generating like 300 leads a month right now." And so like when we would turn ad budget on for leads, it was incredible how many leads you could get. I mean, you could generate unbelievable amounts of leads. And so now there's all this arbitrage and all the things that have evolved. It's a lot harder to do that at a reasonable cost, but you can still do it. I mean, we still do it today, right? Yeah. We still have people we work with that we help get 200, 300, 500 leads, and with the systems we use now. But that back then, we were at the front of that, and it was fun because me and Mike would get on a plane, we'd be flying somewhere, and we would be like, I bet you I'm gonna have more leads than you in my inbox by the time we land. And we would make bets on that, and then we open it up, it's like ding 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 ding, all the leads coming in. Yeah. It was a cool thing because we knew it was an opportunity to make a lot of money selling real estate.
Yeah. So what about for maybe the people who are watching saying, man, 500 leads, I can't get one lead.
Right. Right.
How did the training maybe evolve, and what do you see for, like, maybe talk about how you got into the coaching?
Yeah. So I mean, I subscribe to really, in order to be successful in real estate, there are skills that have to be learned, and fortunately, skills can be learned. And so in order for you to be successful, what most people fail to realize when they get into real estate, and if you're in that point where your business isn't consistent enough for you, it's generally because, well, it's always because you haven't learned something yet, right? So just know that you haven't learned something yet. You're about to learn it now. But if you're getting business from referrals and your sphere of influence and maybe past clients, if you made it long enough in the business for you to have some of those, there's no predictability, there's no consistency, because you never know when someone's going to send a referral, when somebody's going to come back and sell or buy again. And so
hope is not a good strategy.
That feels like the roller coaster, right? And so that's what most agents get to, and that's usually when that's usually when you start looking for a solution. You start going to events and trying to, that's when you're seeking help to get to that next level. And that's where I was in the beginning, right? Like that was my story. I was seeking, how do I find these pillars, right? I'm looking for these pillars is what I was looking for. And I didn't know what I was looking for. I wanted to sell another house, what I wanted, but ultimately I learned what they were. Looking back, I was building these pillars in the business. And so you have to first recognize that's where your business is coming from, and you don't have a sales and marketing system. That's what at every stage, if you're stuck, there's a system that will generally, just one system usually will get you to the next level. It's a problem that you need to solve, and it usually needs to be solved with a system or a process that's going to solve that problem for you, and then it'll remove the problem. You move to the next level, no matter where you're stuck at what level, right? And we have a whole map thing that I'm referring to that nobody knows what I'm talking about, but if you're stuck, and no matter how many deals it is that you're doing, there's in order to bump up and get past that, there's always a system that can be. And for most agents, what we discovered was most agents didn't have a sales and marketing system. They don't have something that they can point to like a yes gun and be like, give me some clients, blah, 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 right. and consistently deliver that. And so that's what you need, is you need a sales and marketing system. And if you don't have one, then you need to find people that have one, and you need to copy what they're doing, right? Model success. That's all I did. And, to be successful, I mean, I don't know anybody. Maybe there's a few people that aren't humble enough to admit it, but there was nothing that I did that was like my own brilliance. I found people that were at a level that I was trying to get to, and I paid a lot of money to get around them so I could learn from them. And then I took good notes. And I'll tell you another thing. This is a funny story. I haven't shared this often, but I had a coach early on. My first coach that I paid was $1,000 a month. I had to put it on 2 credit cards because I didn't have one that I could put the down payment on. And so I said, here, I put it on. It didn't even have a place for a second credit card. I was like, hey, listen, I'm pretty sure this one's not going to go through, but this one might go through. But if you could just split them up, I think it'll
draw a line underneath.
Right. That's what I did. I had to do that. Yeah. And I had to ask if they would still take it. And they were like, yeah. Of course we'll take 2 forms of payment, right? Like we'll get your money one way or another. But I had this coach, and because I was paying him money, a lot of money to me at the time, it was $1,000. I remember seeing it on $1,000. What the heck? That's crazy back then. And I remember we're on a coaching call, and he said, I was telling him the script wasn't working. I said, the script ain't working. He said, well, the script works, so you're probably just not following it. I said, well, no, I'm following it. And he said, okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna ship you a tape recorder and this little weird thing that you can hook up to the phone, and it records onto a tape. It would record the calls. And so I recorded all my calls. I sent him the tape, and he listened to the tape, and he said, you didn't follow the script. I said, the hell I didn't. I said, play the tape. So he plays the tape, and sure enough, I'm following the script, and I'm listening, and I was like, see, I followed the script. That's exactly what it said. He said, no, I didn't. And I changed up enough of it, just enough that seemed like I was making it a little bit mine, it ain't, you don't have to be perfect, right? But and then he said, follow the script exactly the way it's written, and it'll work. When you say that it changes the context of whatever it was. Right. It was enough that it messed it up. And so I said, all right, and I was like, this ain't gonna work, but I'll do it, because I wasn't trying to lose, I was trying to win. Of course. But I was in the moment, I wasn't being that coachable. But I was being coachable, actually, because I did do it. So I did it, and it worked, and I was like, holy shit! How much of my life am I gonna spend being stupid, right? Like, follow the damn script. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I became, and that wasn't by nature, but I became a better listener when I was copying and modeling success. And I listened closer because I realized that I'm not that smart to be trying to innovate on top of something. You don't have to be. Right. If it's working, you don't have to make it better. You just have to be able to do it. Right, exactly. And we got real good at that, and it became a running joke between me and Mike that, hey, we'd be like, hey, copycatter number 1, this is copycatter number 2, over. Do you read me? Like, I got a good one over here, dude, this lead generation strategy or whatever. And we'd laugh and everything. And then our mentor, which later on our mentor became Jay Abraham, and he was outside the real estate industry, but he used to get so pissed at us. He stop calling it copycatting. It's modeling success. You're devaluing the principle of what you're doing that's working for you. Like that, so you always get mad at us. But yeah, it was fun for us, because if you found somebody that was having success, you most certainly can have the same success. That's the key. That's the key to anybody who's been successful will tell you that, is somebody else has probably done it and they can help you do it too. And it's even better when they have an incentive to help you do it, which we can talk about that later.
Absolutely. So yeah, kind of to transition, I noticed that you're going to other places. You're not going to your broker's office to get all this training.
Nothing.
So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So it was how I started having success. It was how I continued having success. And it was the agents that I would meet at these events. That was really what, it was collaboration is what it was, is learning from others. I didn't pay those people, but I had to pay to get in the room with those people. Right. Mm-hmm. And that was where I had the greatest success. I remember the very beginning, first event I ever paid money to go to, and it was in Toronto. I'd never even been to Canada. And I'm in the room, and like two seats down, this guy stands up and he's asking a question or whatever. He says, oh, I sold 400 homes last year. I'm like, what the hell, 400 homes? Like, I hadn't even ever sold more than like 20 or 30. I was like, so my brain is just getting stretched. Like, that's possible, right? And so that's possible. Then
you never go back.
Right? I couldn't think small again after that. Like, I couldn't think that it couldn't be done. I'd never seen it done. It had never been done in my marketplace. But then it did get done. Not just by me, but by number one competitor actually sold more than that too. They sold 700 homes in a year. And so I learned from going to those events, being around other people, spending a lot of money. I spent a lot of money. I mean, I've never had gone back and tallied it up, but I got 2 things that I kept as like my mementos. One is the room key. So I got a stack of like 1,300. It'll be this tall if I had it, and it's not here because my stuff's not here yet. But I've got that, and then I got the lanyard tree, which was just all the lanyards from all the events that I've ever been to, and there's tons of them. I don't even know how many. There's probably 100 of them. And so, and I've spent a lot. I mean, so much money on mentors. The most I've ever spent, $150,000 one mentor.
For one day?
No, that was for 3 days, but it was one day
One day at a
50, 50,
time.
50,
Right, right, right.
right? That's how I got there. But like, they were all worth it. We made so much money from the mentorship of people who if you want to make a lot of money, if you want to make a lot of money, you got to pay a lot of money to learn from somebody how to make a lot of money.
But you're not spending money. It's more of an investment into your future, right?
100%.
Like you're gonna earn a return on that investment.
Yeah. What better investment would there be than investing in yourself and learning,
yeah,
right? Like
exactly.
that's it. It's like Darren Hardy 101, The Compound Effect, which is one of my favorite books. He says take 10% of your income and invest it in yourself. And I did more than that in a lot of cases, and it's getting harder to do that now. But it's a surefire way that you're going to always be growing, and that's the key to success. I mean, you're going to crash. You're gonna hit the wall. You just got to get up and keep moving. But you got to be stepping forward, and your momentum when you fail, your momentum's carrying you forward, right? You're still gaining yardage. You know what I'm saying? So you're always moving forward. You're always winning. When you're losing, you're actually winning. You're not actually, no such thing as losing. There's only winning or learning, right?
Exactly.
And there's nothing more true than that. You're always learning, and if you just have that frame of mind and change that mindset, then the failures you're looking for that. Give me my 10. I want 9 no's because I know the next one's a yes. Right? You're looking for that. But yeah, you have to have that mindset to, it certainly wasn't a straight path to success. Let me just put it that way. Lots of mistakes along the way, steps back, steps forward.
Wait, you mean it's not just like one step up? I just walk right to
yeah,
it?
no, it doesn't work
happen?
that way. No, it doesn't work that way. I don't know anybody that's done that. I think you have to learn a little bit along the way by making the mistakes, right? I was told what to do the right way on the scripts as an example. I was told exactly what to do, but I didn't do it. Why? Because we're human and we're going to mess things up. And even though I had the right information, I still had to learn a lesson. But that lesson is what taught me to listen better. And I couldn't have learned that lesson any other way.
Right.
You couldn't have told me you need to listen closer. You're like, shit, I'm listening. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? I think I'm listening really close. No, you're not. And are your results showing that you're listening? That's when you start to know.
Which is what's important.
Right.
So speaking of moving forward, right? I think there's, the traditional brokerage model has been kind of disrupted, I think is the best word
100%.
Maybe for it.
Yeah, in a big way.
In a very big way. So let's talk about that technology. I know we're just kind of, this is January 2021.
Right.
We're just kind of, COVID is, maybe it'll end soon. Maybe, I don't know what's going to happen. But that whole pandemic situation created, a real opportunity for eXp, which is,
Right.
Let's talk about that traditional brokerage versus this new way that is really disruptive.
Yeah. So, if to shorten to like what you want to do is you want to find ways to, to shorten the learning it takes for you to get to where you want to go. That's how, collapse time. And you do that by modeling success. Well, what's the best environment and way to do that? And so, with eXp, they have a very aggressive compensation plan. They're more competitive when you do the math. They're better for almost everybody to be at eXp. Like almost a certainty. If we had a conversation about it, that you're going to be better off financially at eXp. Period. In fact, most people that are producing agents that do any more than 25 or 30 transactions end up getting paid to be at eXp. They don't pay eXp anything.
But why is it better?
Well, it's better because it's the business model. And if you want it, like the simplest way that I can answer this is for you to find the person that's going to help you become successful. You're in a bricks and mortar office today with people that are your competitors. They're not going to share their best ideas. I'm an abundant mindset, but I'm not going to ever share my best idea with a lady across the hall with me. I mean, you're in my marketplace. If I'm doing something that's working really well, I'm not telling you about it. And most people are smart enough to know that you can't share your best ideas with your competitors, not right in your own office anyway. And so you have to go outside of it, right? That was the way you had to do it. And so a lot of people that are real hungry, and they become real successful too because they were real hungry. They will get on a plane and fly to wherever to learn, and that was the only way you could do it. And so there was this segmentation of the 5%. It wasn't the 80-20 rule in real estate. It was the 95-5. The 5% of people that would pay a bunch of money, get on a plane, go stay somewhere, sit through a conference, take notes, meet a lot of people, come back. Those relationships they had, and they could talk to those people and learn from those people and that kind of stuff. And that's how we all became successful in real estate. The most successful people that I know today. it's been disrupted by eXp's business model. It's completely collaborative. It's cloud-based. We're all connected all the time. You know, that's through technology, not just technology, but through Workplace by Facebook. You know, we're all connected to people through Facebook like we weren't in the past. But Workplace is just every agent in eXp, and we're all owners of that company. And so we have an incentive to help other agents because we all have shares and ownership in the company. That's meaningful. That is an exit strategy that solves other problems for agents that at the end of their career, when they don't have anything, you know, they can have something of value in the stock. Big deal. A lot of people that are joining understand that they didn't get anything for the last 20 years. Me, 20 years in the business, didn't have any stock anywhere. So, you know, hopefully I saved enough money to step away from the business at some point.
Or they're doing it on their own.
Right. Or most people aren't. Real estate agents, we barely save enough to pay our taxes, much less save for the future. Right? Yeah. And because if anything, we're going to put it back on that new lead system that somebody called me about today, try to sell another house. And so there's, you know, it's hard for agents to save. It really is. And so that's a big piece. But the thing that's the most important in understanding this model and why it's disruptive is there's a compensation plan in place for people like us that can help you. Like I have a financial incentive to help you become successful, to give you everything that I know instead of charging you for it. And when you can align people that can help you, and you put them all in a collaborative environment where we're all pulling together and we're all helping one another, especially the top people in the company. You're most certainly going to find success because there's someone that's there they're being compensated, and you're not the one compensating them. That's a big deal. Okay, like you'd have to pay a lot of money to get any of the kind of, I mean, you couldn't get to me. Like I didn't have the time. I had to manage people, right. and you know, there's no way for me to help, you know, spend time with you and help you. Now I don't have to do that.
It doesn't come out of your paycheck.
No. Yeah, exactly. You know. It's part of what you pay into eXp, and that's how this company grows. And a lot of people think because of, you know, the people that come up to you and say, "Oh my God, eXp," they love it. They're just trying to help you. They just be flattered that they do come up to you and they try to tell you about it. It's not the way you want to be approached because you're not looking to change brokerages because you don't probably understand the business model and right. what are all the benefits. And you can't really sit down and explain it. You know, it's not easy for someone to do that. So you kind of have to make the investment of time to look at it really closely before you can say no. But most people say, no, not another eXp agent, you know. But they really are just trying to get you to see what they see and what they're experiencing. And it's quite unbelievable. And once you see it, you know, you'll never unsee it. You'll never think small again. But that's the reason I think most people are standoffish from eXp. Everybody's had someone approach them about eXp, but if you didn't join, then you didn't see it. You missed something, right? Like you need to listen twice as hard.
So for someone who is still maybe looking from the outside in, right? What is kind of the major thing? I think for me it was flipping that traditional model,
right,
literally on its head,
right,
and just eliminating all the middle pieces.
Right.
I wouldn't even call them men. I mean, there
right.
were a bunch of entities in the middle,
right, yeah.
that just disappeared.
It was hundreds of millions of dollars in the model that when eXp decided to deliver through the cloud. And when you think just like open the gate of the mind and listen for a second. Okay, so the reason why none of us are belly aching about going, you know, man, I wish there was a Blockbuster around the corner so I could drive over to the store and get my content to watch tonight. Nobody's saying that. The reason nobody's saying that is because it's just better to be able to click on the TV and click on the Netflix and consume whatever content and how much ever you want. You don't have to worry about taking it back. You don't have any late fees. That shit is just better, right? So it's pretty simple. Yeah, Netflix. Yes, I'll take Netflix over a Blockbuster. Right. You know? It's just better. Same thing with Amazon. You know, and I didn't know when I ordered my first book on Amazon that I was going to order everything on Amazon. You could have never convinced me that was going to be what it was. But today, like the shot collar, you heard me talking about it earlier. It was like the damn dog's barking, and it won't stop barking. And I'm like, I told dog, and I was looking right at her. I said, I'm gonna get you a shot collar, and I was gonna get it on Amazon, and I was gonna do it in between the calls a minute ago. But I'm gonna get it, and it's gonna get shipped all the way to Puerto Rico, and that dog's gonna get shocked every time it barks, and I'm gonna train it not to bark. But how am I gonna do that? Where would you go buy a shot collar? Anybody know? I don't even know what store I would go to.
Petco or
probably,
something?
Yeah. Probably a PetSmart, I guess, right? That makes sense.
PetSmart,
right?
That's what it is.
So like, do I want to go to PetSmart? Hell no, I don't want to go to PetSmart.
You can't go in your PJs.
Right. I can do it right now, in the moment, order it, and it'll get delivered right to my front door. Like, that is just better. It's efficient. It's efficiencies, right? It made it more efficient. It doesn't make sense for me to get my car, drive down the road. Oh, I got to get the kids. Oh, I got to put the car seat in the car.
The one problem with that, though, is it might take a day or two.
Right.
But when it comes
here in Puerto
to,
Rico, it does.
Yeah, maybe another couple days.
Right.
But in the eXp world, right? When it comes to getting a question answered or getting training, it doesn't take 2 days.
It's more like Netflix, right? Right. It's more like Netflix. And some markets, Amazon is same day delivery. Like, they did it with Whole Foods actually in Dallas. And so when we were in Frisco, they guaranteed the order within any of the grocery that you ordered. They would show you stuff from Whole Foods. And Whole Foods was a pretty good run down the tollway from Frisco, but they guaranteed it by a time within 2 hours. So I would order something and it would be Whole Foods, and they would deliver it within 2 hours. And then the DoorDash, we got all these other things that are like that, but they're efficiencies, right? So when you think about brokerage, like the reason that you're at a brokerage is because of the support and the training and maybe what technology platforms they bring to the table. Most of them don't bring much, but that's why you're there, for support and training. Meaning, I have questions, I need answers. How do I get answers to those questions? What is it now? You drive into the office, you chase down the broker, you walk down the hall. Is he there? No, he's not. Always on the phone. And then, next thing you know, you're on an appointment and you didn't get your answer. Like, you should not have to get in the car, drive to an office to get trained on how to sell more real estate. That doesn't make any sense. And then when you start saying, well, like Netflix, can we upload all of them at one time and then somebody can just consume them all? Well, yeah, I guess we could. So is that better? I don't know. A lot of people seem to like it. Well, then let's let them consume it all at once, right? Like, that was an innovation that was just better, was easier. Training. Can you put more training in a cloud-based environment where I can access it from my phone? Yeah, you can do as much training as you want. How much training could you do in a bricks and mortar office? Well, you could do a few trainings a week, maybe. Oh, that'd be great. Okay, well, what if you miss one? Are they recorded and archived? Well, no, we didn't have the video crew this time, so we didn't record that one. Oh, damn, I missed it, right? Okay, at eXp, what is it? Oh, we have 55 hours of training every week. Well, who's doing the training? The top agents in the company. Well, why are they doing that? Well, because they're being compensated and they're getting their $16,000 cap back in stock in the company as a reward, as an award, and all they ask of them to do is just share with the other agents in the company what they're doing that's working. Now you're starting to see this alignment, right, of everyone wins together here. And so who do you want to learn from? The top agents in the company. And how do we get them to do that? They don't do it at other companies. They do it, some of them do just because they're good people, and some of them are asked to do it, and it becomes a penalty, and you kind of have to do it just because you're producing and you're spending.
That's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, it happens at KW all the time. You'll talk to people, and I'm not bashing KW at all. I think they have the second best arrangement for learning that's in the industry, but they used to be the first. But that's because you don't get paid for that. They don't compensate you. So, like, you're doing it out of the kindness of your heart because you want to help people. If you want to help people, well, you better look at eXp, because this is the platform where you come if you want to help agents grow their businesses, because they're going to get compensated in a major way. And that's what most people don't understand. They don't understand. When I say major way, they don't understand move your family to Puerto Rico, within after 3 years in the company, major way, like major life-changing way. And all
financial incentive definitely drives behavior.
Right.
So let's talk about Puerto Rico. How did you get here?
well, first of all, there's lots of people from eXp that in some capacity were involved in real estate. They moved to eXp. They helped other agents see the opportunity. They helped those agents sell more real estate. They helped those agents find more agents that wanted to join eXp. And they through the revenue share, the passive income that they earn, they found an island that's has some really great benefits for people who have businesses like we have, that are revenue share generating, the services we provide agents. So you can save a lot of money in taxes. So that's part of it. But it's also the Caribbean. It's kind of nice here. To be
Just
honest
a little
with you.
bit.
I can tell you this. 3 years ago, if you just said, "Hey, do you think you're going to move to Puerto Rico?" I would have said, "No. Why? I moved to an island? Not yet." I wasn't thinking that's
right.
where I'd be in 3 years. Yeah, but that's very possible at eXp. There's the opportunity is very, very, very. It's just at the very beginning. Like, that's the main thing. Like, it's at the very beginning. I promise you, I can teach you how to sell a house. I can teach you how to get expireds or physicals. I can teach you funnels for how to generate 10 times more leads than you're doing, and you can too. And that's great. But the other thing I can teach you, and we can teach you, is how to make passive income that compounds monthly. And you ain't never heard of anything like that before. I've never heard of anything like that before. That is something that you want to learn the skill set of how to do, and it's not difficult at all. We make it actually quite easy, and you'd be crazy to think we wouldn't have built some systems around helping you do that. So, that's an opportunity. It's just a different opportunity. The reason it exists is because of eXp and their business model. It's a cloud-based model. Every real estate company is a recruiting company. The difference was the regions and franchisees had incentives to recruit because they bought those investments in that company to go recruit agents. And they recruit, and then you paid royalties up to the top. And at eXp, none of that exists because it's all been removed by the fact that we're a cloud-based brokerage delivering services through the cloud. And then, that left us with the problem. Well, how are you going to grow the company? Who's going to do it? Wow, we can hire people to do it, right? Or we could say, well, the agents, they know who they want to work with. They know the agents in the market that they like to work with. Let's let them get that compensation off the top, revenue share, for bringing over people that are agents they want to work with. And so that's what started happening. And then Glenn said this a long time ago. He said, I was told he said this, I think I saw the post that was a repost of it, was we're going to make the opportunity so big that the right people are going to join this company and help us grow it. And he knew what he was saying when he said it. He was saying the people that have 5 and 10 and 15 and $20 million companies that serve real estate agents that have been in real estate and they know how to help real estate agents they're gonna align to eXp because the opportunity with eXp is bigger than anything you could create for yourself. And that's exactly what you're seeing at eXp. It's actually we were one of the first to really see that. And now it's even more. There's more and more people that are joining that are different. They weren't real estate agents before, right?
Right.
Because they can help agents, and this is a better way to be compensated, where you don't have to pay us as an agent.
I mean, I think the proof is in the pudding, that's for sure. Hey, if you want to continue this conversation, I know you've got a call to get on actually right now to continue building this, right? So go ahead. If you want to continue to learn more and continue this conversation, go to doubleyourbusinessclass.com. You can learn a lot of different strategies and then even learn a little bit about what a partnership opportunity would look like here with us over at eXp. Jay, thank you very much,
my brother. Yep. It's been a great couple weeks.
Yes, sir. We will see you next time. Take care.